Hello everybody, Helen Chin-Liu here from the Healing Place Energy School in Medfield, Massachusetts. I have a guest. Well, it's not really a guest, it's more like a client guest. And today we are going to do a soul discussion while I'm giving him a reflexology session. Doesn't that sound really neat? And one thing about Jose, he is such an enlightened old soul, even though he's a young age of 33. So 33, Jose?
35.
35. I'm sorry, you're 35?
That's okay. I like the fact that you made me younger.
Yeah, I made him younger. And then it's going to be so kick butt. Okay, here we go. I'm going to switch over. So here is Jose. Say hello, Jose.
Hey, everybody.
Jose is a mature soul, as I said, and he has a lot to say. In the 3 sessions I have worked with him, he has taught me so much, really incredible information. So he's challenging my spirituality with growth, not challenged by saying, well, Helen, I think what you're saying is wrong. So we have this, what I call very soulful conversation. So I'm going to work on his feet. Jose has come basically looking for help for his kidney support. And you're going to see me conduct a reflexology session as he and I talk. And I have no idea where the flow will go. So anyways, we started to talk about, so Jose, we started to talk about why we think illnesses come up. And why does that energy get stuck to create insufficiency? So I would love to hear what you think.
Yeah, well, I always say my opinion or my take on the matter, based on the things that I have learned, is that illness is usually some kind of unexpressed emotion that's trapped in the body. And because you haven't released it, it then has to show itself through physical means to give you signals on how or what you can do to release that energy and let that illness go. But if you don't, it starts to trigger further lessons that can become stronger and stronger lessons depending on how much nudging in that direction the universe has to give you.
Well, I think that's very true. Like, for example, because you have had kidney problems, which
Yes.
I think at this point is pretty balanced.
Yeah.
So kidneys, it's all about fears that
Yes.
you either consciously or unconsciously have that just get stuck in the kidneys.
Correct. I feel like, fear, because fear is the overriding emotion, which triggers, subsets of emotions that I believe, like anger, unworthiness, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
And, one of the books that I read from one of my greatest teachers is Louise L. Hay.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah.
I really do.
She's fantastic, and she has a book called Heal Your Body, and it actually gives you not every illness, but many of them, and how they're connected to what body part.
And also to the soul.
To the soul, and what the connection can be between the illness and the emotion that's causing this illness. And then she'd give you an affirmation to reprogram your mind and release that emotion. And
well, and the thing for those people who don't know what accommodations are, or this is really important to do. And I believe from the teaching of being here for 15 years, everybody, I was saying to the woman before you who was here, I said, we can make anything the truth. If we say it enough times in our head, we're going to believe it, right? And so what acclimation is, you're reprogramming your thinking. Instead of focusing on the negative, why not focus on the positive? And if you say it enough times, you're going to believe it.
That's absolutely true, Helen. I don't know who said this, but I heard many of what I call my mentors or my teachers say. And, they say, everybody has their own truth, and their truth is going to be just as true to them as your truth is to you. So we had gotten into this discussion before, which is kind of a side tangent, but everybody lives in their own reality, and you get to choose. That's the biggest operative word here is choice. You get to choose what you decide to believe in and how that's going to affect your world. And we've had this discussion many times where two people can have the same exact event happen to them, but they can have it with two different outcomes based on their beliefs and the choices that they made that are driven by those beliefs.
So one of the things this morning was I was mentioning to a woman that was, she came for soul retrieval. And she was so distressed because everything she knew from the time of her marriage to now, in some way has been a lie to her. And she was so confused. And I was challenging her in a way by asking her questions. Asking her, and then I wanted her to ask her soul questions on what is her truth, because she couldn't figure out what was the truth, because everything she thought was truthful was a contradiction to what she was actually living.
Wow. Yeah, and that's true. That's very true. A lot of us say we believe something, but our actions are different, and when your actions contradict your beliefs, then you need to then take a self-assessment, because maybe your beliefs are not what you say they are.
Poor Jose, he's trying not to scream as I'm working on his kidneys right now. You see, I got him to turn red.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Yes, and his voice is trying not to crack.
He's trying to stay very steady right now.
The things I gotta do, he's trying to talk about his truth and try not to scream at the same time.
That's my truth. So right now it's I'm feeling a little bit of sensation.
Yeah.
We'll call it that.
Well, Jose, maybe today's not the day you'll be passing a kidney stone at the age of 35. I still can't believe how you could still have, you're so young, and I'm thinking, kidney stones, you're not 70 years old.
I know, tell me about it.
Yeah, but the fact that, Jose, you're such an old soul, it just amazes me that you're having old people syndrome.
That makes sense, and it's one of those things where maybe it's a way to, hopefully, I say this, with this being the desire that they want to teach me these lessons early to get them out of the way.
Yeah, who's trying to teach you these lessons?
Well, I would almost say that's a good question. And my answer to that would probably be, I set up this lesson to teach it to myself.
Is that part of your soul contract, do you think?
I think so.
Or soul obligation?
I think so. I think it's for me to teach myself to live in love and not in fear, and I think that's a super important lesson for all of us to learn, depending on what we're going through.
Why do you think people forget about our original, I don't know what you want to call it, origins? How do people forget about that?
That's also a really good question, and that takes us, to a very metaphysical place where, I don't really know where we originate from. All I could probably say is, based on what I've learned, is just that we all come from all that is, and it's basically the substance that is in everything and everywhere, and can't be seen, and we somehow physically focused it to create what we see now, like our bodies and this reality that we perceive.
One thing about meeting with Jose, we have the most interesting conversations. This little podcast turned out to be 30 minutes. I think it's a little bit too long because the subject matter is really intense. I decided to divide it into 3 total 10-minute segments. So you are watching segment number 1, and I'm going to edit the second segment, and you'll see that sometime at the end of this week, and the third segment next week. In the meantime, I would have put on my makeup and you could see my face, but I'll be honest, I got lazy and I decided it's more important the information instead of looking at my face. So stay tuned for part 2 sometime at the end of this week. This is Helen Chin Liu from the Healing Place Energy School. I'll talk to you really soon. Bye-bye.